The heading is Composite Transformations. And you remember, transformations, right? It's actually short for, there's a two-word phrase we learned yesterday. Do you remember what it was? Also starts with a C. Congruence. Yes, well done. Okay, so all it means is a way that you can change a shape so that it's still actually the same shape, same size, all that kind of thing, okay? Now, we learned that there were 3 of them. We did a big, nice table. We took a long time going through it. What were the 3? What was the first one? Any takers? Yes, Sonia.
Reflection.
Well, okay, we'll go to the second one. That's okay. Reflection, which is like flipping or mirroring. Okay, Ali?
Translation.
Translation was the first one we looked at. But really, I suppose you could do them in any order. And what was our synonym for translation? Yeah, Ash. Or someone else want to help her? Alina?
Slide.
Yeah, good. Sliding or shifting around. Okay? And the very last one, no. Rotation. Excellent. Which is about spinning or turning. Okay. Now, very simply, all this idea of composite transformations is, well, when we say composite, what does that mean? Composite. Yeah, James. Oh, it does sound like opposite, doesn't it? But it means something a little bit different. Any takes? Yeah, for what? Oh, you're thinking of like prime numbers and composite numbers? You're getting to it. What might composite mean as a general term? I think what it refers to is when you've got many things composed together. Like, you know, if you compose a novel or something like that, it's like putting a whole bunch of words together. Or a composite number, it's lots of numbers, lots of factors go into it, okay? So composite transformations is where you do a whole bunch of these, one after another. So to show you what that looks like, why don't you draw yourself a triangle? Make it look a bit like mine. And we're going to do more than one transformation after another. So maybe we'll go with, let's go with a reflection and then a rotation. Here's the way we're going to do it. Remember, each of the transformations requires ingredients, right? What were the ingredients for a reflection? What do we need? Yeah, Kieran.
Directions.
Oh, do we need a direction for a reflection? Oh,
straight
that
line,
right.
straight line.
Straight line. Good. Okay. So I'm gonna draw a straight line here. Okay. So we are going to reflect this triangle across this straight line. Okay. Now, to make this a little more easy for us, here's what we're going to do. Let's name this triangle. We'll call it triangle ABC. Okay. And this line, let's call it, say, line L. That's my lowercase l. I'm doing it with a loop in it so you don't confuse it with the number 1. Okay? So the first thing we're going to do, first, is we're going to reflect, and this is the way I would write it, reflect triangle ABC across line L. Okay? That's the first thing that we're going to do. Okay? Then, following that, I'm going to do, let's pick another transformation. I'm going to go with rotation. I think that's a bit more interesting than translation. I'm going to put, now, what were the ingredients for a rotation? We need a straight line for reflection, and there we go. Okay. What are the ingredients? There's quite a few. Yeah, for what?
Degrees.
Okay, we need an angle, a size of angle in some number of degrees. What else do we need apart from an angle? Yeah, Lena.
A point.
Okay, we need a point, like where are we looking? Okay, and I think there's one more. Yeah, Sahan.
Angle.
Oh, I think we said angle, right? What do we have on top of an angle? Yeah. Yeah, good. We want to know clockwise or anti-clockwise. Okay, so there's 3 things, right? So a point, we need a point. Let's put the point, I'm going to put it about here. Okay, so I'm going to call that P, right? So what we're going to do is, first we'll do the reflection.
So how do you put, what made you put it up there?
Yeah, good question. I'm doing it opposite A. So where A is going to be. Sorry. It should actually be a bit further. Let me make that a bit better. So you see where A is, right? So go all the way across to there and we'll make that P. Okay. So, sorry, again. First, reflection. Second, we're going to rotate. Now, do you remember I said at the very end of the lesson, right, that when you've got a shape and it's been transformed, you've got the original, and then what's this called? What's the thing called after you do the...
Mirror.
It depends on, well, I mean, for all transformations, not necessarily just, yeah.
The image.
The image, very good. We're going to get the image over here, okay? So what we're going to do is rotate the image, okay, of the triangle. And we're going to rotate it, let's see, what should we do? Let's go 90 degrees clockwise, so you can see there's two pieces, an angle and a direction, about the point P.
You have to use a ruler to draw the triangles though.
Okay, it will really help if you use a ruler to draw, because then it'll be nice and accurate and all that kind of thing.
Can I borrow a ruler?
Okay, you should have borrowed one before, you can collect one in a second.
Okay.
Alright, let's give this a go. Okay, now do I have my other color with me? Alright, blue will do. So, first step. Now you will need not just a straight edge, but actually something which you can measure with. Okay, so you've got your measurements on there. Do you remember, how do we do the reflection and make sure it's accurate? Does anyone remember? Yeah, Ash?
You measure from like B to the line. And then from
Good, good, good. Okay, so I'm going to get my ruler, right? And I'm going to go directly to the line. Okay, now yours might be a bit of a different distance. Obviously mine is huge. So I see that as 12 centimeters there. That line there. Okay, because, you know, it's a big diagram. Okay, so I'm going to go 12 centimeters there. Okay, so those should be the same. They're the same length. Okay, now what I've done is I've got one point. I'm going to do them one at a time. Okay, so this new point I have over here, okay, I'm going to call it, well, this is A, B, and C. So I'm going to call this, it came from B, I'm going to call it B1. Okay. Yes, there will be a B2 shortly. Okay, so there's B1. I'll do the same for C. Okay, and you can see you're going to get something very similar, aren't you? Okay. Again, I'm going directly to the line. Okay. Today, you have a question?
Yes. Oh, why is the point P there?
Because we're going to do a rotation after this.
Okay.
Make sense? So there's two transformations. That's what makes it a composite transformation. Okay. So I've measured my distance here, C, and so should you. And when you go across, you're going to get a new point over here. And to distinguish it from the original ones, let's call that C1. Okay, so there you go. C1. Okay, so far so good. I just have that 1 point left. And if I measure across, well, my intention is that it actually ends up on P. So P is also, it's also A1. There you go. All right, so now I've got 3 points from the original triangle, 3 points for the image triangle. Let's draw the image. Okay, should look like this. Whoops. There's the idea. Okay, how do we look? Does that look about right? You happy with that?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So there you go. There's your first step. We've done our reflection of triangle ABC across the line L. Now, we're going to do the rotation. Okay? So, this is a bit tricky. How do I do this? Okay? Each of these points are going to rotate and they're going to go this way. They're going to go this way. Okay? So, I'm going to start with A1 and B1, right? See this line here? This line here. I'll mark it in green for you. The reason why I pick a line is because we're good at knowing how lines rotate, right? Like if you look at a clock, you can see how the lines rotate, and the point that they're rotating around is, well, it's the center of the clock, isn't it? Okay. So I want you to picture A1, or P rather, as the center of the clock, and this green line is going to rotate 90 degrees clockwise. 90 degrees clockwise. So here's what you're going to need. I'm going to do it in green, okay? You're going to need to measure this length of this this line. Okay. Now my one is it's about 14 centimeters long. Obviously yours will be a bit smaller than that. Okay. But when we rotate it those 90 degrees, it's going to go around like this. Okay. Can you see it's going clockwise? So it should end up something like this. Okay, there you go. I've done it nice and thick so you can see it. Okay, so can you see, here was the original line, and now it's been rotated. And there's that 90 degrees. That's actually a right angle in there, isn't it? Okay, so there you go. There's, that was A1, that was B1. So what should we call this point?
B2.
Call it B2. That's a good name, I think. Actually, I'll leave it as green. Okay, excellent. Now I've got another line that I can rotate, right? Can you see it? You've got some choices. I could rotate this line here, right? Can you see that? Where's it going to go? It's gonna come around, isn't it? Just like another arm of the clock, right? Something like this. Can you see that? Okay. So you'll want to know what's the length of that long side there. Okay, you want to measure yours. My one is 27 centimeters, very long. Okay, but it's going to come around in the same way. So it's something like this. Okay, there you go. So you can see now I've rotated two of them. That was B2. What should I call this?
A2.
Wait, is it A?
C2.
Ah, it came from C. It came from C.
I didn't realize that, so I'm confused.
That's okay, alright. Yes, not called for. Now, I'm almost done. I've actually got all the points I need, don't I? All I have to do is connect this up, and there's my triangle. Ta-da! Okay, so there you go. There's my composite transformation. From the red all the way to the green, that was it. Okay, and that was the instructions that we followed.